This is going to be Blackfathom Deeps as a Mistweaver monk. Usual disclaimer, I am not an expert at this game, this is not a dungeon guide, this is my own personal experience with a random dungeon group. So Blackfathom Deeps, let's see, I'm level 26, doesn't look like I have any new abilities. Oh, somebody brought a traveling trader. Interesting. Hey, there's voice acting. Oh, right, so this dungeon... This was one of the first dungeons I had ever run, so I have some good memories of...
Lord Bathiel will not be denied his sacrifices.
They're talky. I had a lot of memories of this going all the way back to Classic. I've always really liked this dungeon. I was surprised to see that a lot of stuff had changed here. I guess this one was redone. Maybe there was a heroic version of it for some expansion or another that I hadn't played. But yeah, there's voice acting and stuff. Things have changed around in here, so this, you know, if you played this back in the day, this might look a little different from what you're used to. There's the map for a second. The new one's cool, but yeah, it's different. So right, Druid tank. Looks like we got a Frost Mage, and what are those other two? Turn off those ice clips. They're so bothersome. Is that a rogue? I think that's a rogue. And that one looks like a warrior.
The water is fine.
Fury warrior, possibly? Will I be able to tell? That dude's a boss. Can't really fight him there. He runs away. You have to swim across. What's this druid doing? Nothing really. The warrior's going ahead and doing stuff. Do arms warriors dual wield like that? I don't know. I mostly only play Fury. This mage is having some trouble. Went ahead without the tank. You gotta wait for the tank. Stick to them, stay behind the bear. Like I was saying in Wailing Caverns just a moment ago, oh, there's some platforming here, by the way. There's a platforming section in this dungeon for some reason. It's not very hard. You gotta pay a little bit of attention to it. Also, there's a rope bridge you can create there if you don't want to do the platforming, I guess. I don't know. I've deployed the rope bridge, I haven't actually used it to get up there. Didn't even notice it was there on this run. I had to come back on my own to, you know, do it at my own pace and see things like that. Right, yeah, so like I was saying in Wailing Caverns, you can usually get a decent feel for the group's level of experience and general vibe. These damage dealers aren't giving me the best vibe right here. They're running ahead and getting themselves in trouble instead of waiting for their bear druid to do what needs to be done. I don't think it causes any major problems, but, you know, keep an eye on them. There are some situations... Okay, yeah, so let's talk about this situation. As a healer, if you're paying enough attention, some damage dealer runs off and pulls a whole bunch of monsters on their own.
Wait, it's too soon.
Sorry, I'm talking over all your wonderful voice acting here. Just like the lore, the voice acting in this game is not its strongest point, honestly. Whoa, there was some kind of lightning circle there, and I walked right into it. So Gamura is a lightning-y turtle boss now, apparently. This is not how he used to be. Anyway, right, so, situation. If one of your party members who is not the tank runs off on their own, pulls a whole bunch of monsters, gets themselves in a lot of trouble, at certain times you really want to leave them alone and not heal them at all, because any interaction with a player who is in combat will place you into the same combat group. If they're just trying to be a troublemaker and, you know, pull half the dungeon, bring it back to everybody else, and cause a wipe because they get involved in the combat.
I cannot attack that target.
Okay, now I'm getting confused because I had the wrong action bar there. I had my attack action bar selected, so I was trying to attack the tank instead of healing him. Anyway, yeah, so somebody runs off, pulls half the dungeon, like this warrior's doing here with this turtle. without waiting for the tank. If I don't heal them at all, and they just go and die, then all of those monsters will reset to their initial positions if nobody else has interacted with them, and we'll just lose the one person. If I heal them, all the monsters go on me when they die, and the tank has to take them, or I have to die, or something. That's how a party wipe would happen in that situation. There are a lot of ways to accidentally interact with a monster and get into combat with it, but once its attention has gone on one person, you have to do a specific thing to get its attention. Like, it won't just attach to you by proximity. They'll only do that if they're not in combat with anybody, is the way I understand it, at least. Yeah, so just the nuances, if you're reading your group vibe and you see somebody going off to start some trouble, just back off, stay out of it. Fortunately, that hasn't happened to me in a very long time. Like I said earlier, almost all the players I've run into now have just been mostly competent, super chill, just here to have a good time and play a dungeon with a few other people. Not 100% of them, but almost all of them have been like that. It's been good. But I still have memories of, people being trolls, not being so cooperative, trying to make trouble. I'm sure it can still happen, I'm sure it will still happen if I keep playing this game, so I want to be ready for it.
The easier it will be for Akumai to ride!
It is too far.
Was that a boss? Why is he talking? Twilight Aquamancer. It doesn't sound like a boss, it just sounds like a random dude. So yeah, there's these tentacles here, coming out of the floors and walls and stuff. Not sure what their deal is, they're just kind of there. I think I'll get, picked up and flung around by one in the wall. Maybe this one? Does this one pick me up? You can kill them, so they won't do that to people who step too close and don't know any better, like me. Yeah, maybe that'll happen. I know it happened at some point in here. I don't know if it was on this run or if I ran this dungeon multiple times and saw it then. We will see. So right, healing requirements in this dungeon. Looking a little heftier than they were in Wailing Caverns. Kind of have to stay on my toes here. Pay attention to what's going on. Again, I also feel like I have a slightly less competent group than I had there. But I just had, an amazing group there. Everybody knew exactly what they were doing. Here, the group's fine, It's just not amazing. Deep Terror. Servant of Akamai? Something something? What was that? I don't know. Paths branch off a little bit here. There's a couple of optional bosses here. Looks like we're going toward one now. Subjugator Coral. Okay. I know we don't kill all of the... optional bosses here. When I came back here, over-leveled a whole lot. I tried just using Crackling Jade Lightning from a distance to kill that, because I could kill it in a few ticks at the level I came back here. And that broke the entire encounter. He ran up to me, died, well, didn't actually die, despawned, and the game did not know what to do. So you can break this encounter by doing too much damage from too far away, I discovered. There's some, ground effects going on here. Leviathan's Grip. Looks like the bear is doing nothing. I'm assuming that's just a channeled stun or something. Yeah, I saw that happen in the ground. Wasn't sure what it was going to mean. Looks like that means a tentacle is about to smash there. So, move out of the ground effects. Usually a good idea. But I don't always know what they mean. Sometimes they're beneficial. I was standing in one there. Whoopsie. I got a ring from that. Let's see how long it takes me to notice. It might not have... Oh, no, I noticed now. There it is. Debating which one of these two to replace. People were standing around, so I had time. Didn't know what that was. Apparently it's a thing you can pick up to toss Murloc Slop onto Twilight something. Yeah, this was all new. I had never seen this before. So like you can toss that onto Twilight Hammer Cultists to turn them into an irresistible treat for Akumai. So like throw the raw meat at something and I just cancelled it to get it off my screen. I didn't want it. You know, something will come and eat it or something. I don't know. I'm gonna guess the tank was looking at the map there because there's a bunch of branches of the map here. You have to know which one to go into. You can kind of see it in the minimap. We came from that lower left one, fought the boss in the upper left one. Now we go through the lower right one to get to the rest of the dungeon.
It is too far away.
Is it? Oh yeah, he's gone way off on his own. And really needs some healing. Yeah, this looks dicey. Hope I'm paying attention here. I think I'm panicking a little bit, because like 2 people really need healing. Not doing the best job at prioritizing. Hitting that Vivify button a whole lot. My mana bar still looks fine though. Looks like the damage calmed down. Everybody survived. But yeah, I wasn't paying the most attention there and kind of let things get a little bit bad. Oh yeah, look at that mana bar. 2/3 down. Yep, that's... I couldn't keep this up forever. Right, at this point my Renewing Mist has only 1 charge to it. At some level later it gets a second one, so you know I can cast it once, cast it twice, and each one of those casts keeps its own cooldown. And it can recharge to 2 uses. So I can keep it on 2 targets, Vivify a 3rd, and then have that heal hit 3 targets at once. Technically you can have it on more targets than that, because its duration is longer than its cooldown. So you can cast it twice, wait for the cooldown, cast it a 3rd time before the first 2 have run out. But you know, the situations where you're going to be coordinating that and timing it perfectly so that you heal, you know, all 4 of those targets are incredibly rare. Here's a very talky ogre. Doing my second run on my own. Ooh, ground effect. You might want to move. I didn't move and I took a lot of damage for it. Easier to see that when I'm not in the moment, you know, hyper-focusing on these green bars on the left. Which, often I miss my own bar. Like, I'm usually the lowest health person in the group, just because, like, my own health bar is separate from the other 4. I don't always see it when I'm paying attention to the others. Fortunately, when my health gets below a certain level, like a 4th or so, I get a full screen effect telling me, hey, you're low on health, you might want to pay attention to it. Sometimes it's too late by that point, but it is nice to have the warning. So right, that ogre dude was interacting with an optional boss who swam away way down under the water there. You have to go well out of your way to kill it. This group does not do that. This is the way, by the way, turning right here. This tank is not familiar with the layout of this dungeon. You know, that's fine. You don't have to be. But I can tell that they don't know exactly where to go all the time. I got feared and moved way away from everybody else. Whoa, and something's like pulling me into a place I don't want to be. Yeah, that was a lot of damage that just happened there. So yeah, I need to hold still to do my big heals, but if I'm being pulled into a danger zone, I can't hold still. So I gotta balance those things somehow. I'll bet this was a complete nightmare on Heroic, for whichever expansion it was for. Looks like I moved out of that in time. I saw him charging up a big thing. Oh, look at that debuff on Executioner Gore there. That's, I think it's called Mystic Touch. The monk has an ability that causes any melee damage done to most enemies to cause their damage to be increased by 5%, I think it is. So even if I'm not really doing any, not really doing a whole lot of fighting on a particular boss, it's helpful for me to get like at least one hit in toward the start so that everybody else can do 5% more damage. Just another of the many things to think about. Yeah, one thing I just really love about this game is like there's just an almost endless number of considerations you can make to squeeze just a little bit more performance out of everything, if you want to. Constantly shifting priorities and, you know, it's a very active game. Though sometimes it's not if you overlevel the instance or other circumstances.
You are too late, hero.
Coming up toward the end of the dungeon, it kind of sneaks up on me. I always forget that this is actually the second to last boss right here.
Fortunately, you will not live long enough to behold his glory. Finish them!
I am out of range.
That's a lot of damage. Yeah, doing some vivifies. I'm taking some too. Somebody's using chain lightning on me. I'm a little more worried about my bear, though. Yeah, look at those bars going down. This looks bad. Are we gonna wipe here? So that red glow around the rogue's nameplate means something has him as its primary target. So yeah, 2 people were tanking during that encounter there. Rogue was just taking some enemy or another on his own over in the corner, while the bear was off doing something else. Sometimes you want that, most of the time you really don't. What's up with these water elementals? Are they like healing him or something? I don't know, it's hard to tell what's going on. Minor damage from the ground effects there. They didn't look too threatening, so I wasn't super active about moving out of them. Again, gotta hold still to do the big healing. So if you're gonna make me move, then I'll be a whole lot less effective while I'm moving. Yeah, it looks like I'm definitely getting comfortable at this point, switching between attacking and healing. So, you know, that's about what it's going to look like for the rest of this. Move in, do some attacks, C-bars go down, move back, do some healing. C-bars full. Boy, this is a talky dungeon. They just never shut up. They have a lot of things to say. Alright, Akumai. Everybody's been talking about him. Time to go and meet the horror himself. Don't know what this druid's doing. I don't remember him standing around and doing nothing for this long, but that's what he does, apparently. Must have some kind of distraction. Okay, there. Somebody got pulled in by the tentacle. I thought that had happened to me. But I guess if it does, this is not the time when it happens. But yeah, step close to that thing, you get thrashed around for a while and not be able to do anything. Yeah, the rogue's getting it now. I guess maybe it wasn't during this run that I got to experience this. Because we're right about at the end of it here. Akamai, the Devourer. Terror from the Deep. Last dude. About to get smashed. There I go.
It is too far away.
About to get smashed. Oh hey, I moved. Good for me. It is harder to pay attention to things like that as the healer, because I typically don't have the thing that's charging up an ability like that targeted. You know, in my target display up there, where, you know, I have the rogue targeted, I have Akamai targeted there, yeah, tearing the void or whatever he was just doing, I can see the cast bar. It's very obvious. That's the general area where my eyes are. It's much easier to tell when I have that cast bar up that something's happening. Than when I just have to pay attention to other things on the screen doing it. You know, you'd think, to some degree, that, like, this big ground effect going over top of my character would be easy to see, but it's not always, because my eyes are way in the upper left of the screen. They're not in the center where my character is, you know, standing in this green and purple stuff. Oh yeah, this is some heavy damage. I don't think everybody's gonna survive this. Nope. Lost the rogue. Akamai is almost down. I think we'll be okay. Blackfathom leaps. There we go.
Savor this victory, mortal. Now that you've heard our whispers, it is only a matter of time until you become.
There's more talking. Looks like Akamai didn't drop a lootable corpse, so you get your rewards for it by opening this chest. I got 1 copper. What? But I also received this somehow. So, this group, somebody decided to queue us up for another random dungeon. I accepted. I guess I felt like this group was fine. Looking back at it, at this point, I honestly kind of don't. Like, I would have left at this point. And not done another with them. But it looks like we do a Shadowfang Keep together, which is fine, you know, we got it done. I don't include that because we already did Shadowfang Keep. Alright, yeah, see you for the next one of these.